The rain fell in sheets, painting the windshield with 1,000 tiny rivulets, each one catching the glow of the streetlights in the deserted parking lot like scattered jewels. The downpour was relentless, a curtain of water that blurred the world outside, turning the night into a soft, impressionistic painting. Inside the car, the air was warm and slightly misty from our breaths, an intimate space wrapped in the cool embrace of the storm. I sat there, fingers drumming nervously on the steering wheel, the rhythmic tapping barely audible over the drumming of rain on the car's roof. The sound was a symphony of nature, chaotic yet soothing in its constancy. That's when she said it, her voice cutting through the quiet tension like a knife, sharp and precise. "You drive like you're hiding something." The words hung in the air between us, charged and electrifying, crackling with a potential that made the small space of the car seem both vast and claustrophobic. I turned to look at her silhouette framed by the passenger seat, an enigmatic figure etched in shadows and soft light. One leg was tucked under the other, her posture relaxed yet alert, a study in contrasts that seemed to define her entire presence. Raindrops glistened on her thighs, catching the dim light and turning her skin into a landscape of shimmering reflections. Her gaze was steady, unflinching, as if she could see right through me, past the layers of pretense and self-assurance to something raw and unguarded. There was a calm intensity in her eyes, a deep, probing curiosity that seemed to reach into the very core of who I was. It was disconcerting and fascinating all at once, a challenge I wasn't sure I was ready to meet. "My name is Ethan Carter, 32, and I'm an architect, well, a junior architect, really, which is a fancy way of saying I spend most of my time drafting other people's visions. My days are filled with lines and angles, with the precision of blueprints and the endless pursuit of perfection in design. But tonight, my mind was far from blueprints and design specs. I was a swirl of anxiety and curiosity, emotions competing like the rain and the wind outside, an internal storm mirroring the one beyond the glass. The woman sitting next to me was Sarah, my mother's friend from yoga class. She was in her late 40s, but carried herself with a youthful grace that belied her age, a kind of quiet confidence that made people take notice. Her presence was magnetic, drawing you in with an atmosphere of mystery and subtle allure. There was something about her that suggested she knew secrets, both hers and yours. Her aura was one of intrigue and quiet strength, a combination that was as compelling as it was unsettling. She had asked for a ride home, but as of yet hadn't given me an address. Instead, she watched my hands on the wheel like they were telling her secrets, her eyes flickering with interest and something else, something I couldn't quite name. "Why do you say that?" I asked, trying to match her calm facade, though my insides were a knot of nerves, tension coiling tighter with every second of silence. She smiled, a small, enigmatic curve of her lips that was both reassuring and provocative. "It's just an observation. People reveal more than they think when they drive." There was something in her tone, a hint of a challenge wrapped in casual banter. It was the spark, the forbidden beginning of something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it was there, simmering beneath the surface, a potential energy waiting to be released. I gripped the wheel tighter, feeling the leather under my palms, the texture grounding me in the moment. "Where am I taking you, Sarah?" She shrugged, a delicate rise and fall of her shoulders, a movement that seemed to carry the weight of the world with effortless grace. "I thought maybe we could just drive for a bit. It's a nice night for it, don't you think?" The rain intensified, a steady drumbeat that matched the rhythm of my heart, a relentless reminder of the passage of time and the fleeting nature of moments like this. I started the car, the engine's quiet purr adding to the cocoon of sound that enveloped us, a soft undercurrent to the symphony of rain. I pulled out of the parking lot, the tires splashing through puddles, each one sending a shiver up my spine, a tactile connection to the world outside our intimate bubble. We drove in silence, the only sounds the whisper of the wipers and the rain, a gentle lullaby that wrapped around us like a protective shroud. The streets were empty, washed clean by the downpour, the suburban houses all dark and silent, their occupants tucked away in the warmth of their homes. It felt like we were the only two people in the world, encapsulated in our little bubble of warmth and quiet, a self-contained universe where nothing existed but us and the night. I stole glances at her, her profile lit by the soft glow of the dashboard, her features softened by the gentle light. Her eyes, however, remained fixed on me, as if waiting for something, some sign or signal that I was unaware of. There was a patience in her gaze, a willingness to wait for the moment when things would become clear, when the unspoken would find its voice. "Why don't you pull over here?" she suggested suddenly, pointing to a side street lined with trees that bowed under the weight of the rain, their branches swaying gently in the wind. I did as she asked, the car coming to a stop beneath the boughs. The rain muted now, a gentle patter on the leaves, a soft percussion that filled the air with a sense of calm. We sat there, the engine idling, the air between us thick with unspoken words, a tangible connection that pulsed with potential. "You're tense?" she said, her voice soft yet probing, a gentle nudge that invited honesty. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding, the exhalation a release of pent-up tension. "It's not every day I find my mom's friend waiting in my car," I admitted, trying for levity, though the reality of the situation was anything but light. She laughed, a low, melodic sound that danced through the car, a music that seemed to resonate with something deep inside me. "Fair point. But tell me, Ethan, what are you hiding?" Her question hung in the air, an invitation and a challenge all at once, a gauntlet thrown down with a smile and a knowing look. I swallowed, the weight of it pressing down on me. What was I hiding? The question gnawed at me, a reminder of the things left unsaid, the desires and fears pushed aside in the routine of daily life, the secrets I kept even from myself. "I suppose we're all hiding something," I said finally, turning to meet her gaze head-on, a decision made in the moment to confront the uncertainty. There was a pause, a moment where the world seemed to hold its breath, the rain a gentle backdrop to the charged silence. Her eyes searched mine, and I felt exposed, like she could see every secret I kept locked away, every fear and hope that I dared not voice. "Maybe," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, a soft breath of sound that carried more weight than a shout. "Or maybe some of us are just waiting for the right moment to reveal them." Her words were like a thread, pulling me closer, unraveling the distance between us, a connection that felt both inevitable and terrifying. In that quiet, rain-soaked car, it felt like the line between what was and what could be was as thin as a whisper, a fragile barrier that could be breached with a single word. We sat there, the silence stretching between us, a fragile thing that could shatter at any moment, leaving us exposed and vulnerable. The rain had eased, now a gentle mist that blurred the world outside the windows, leaving us suspended in our own private universe, a world of possibilities and promises yet to be fulfilled. "Why did you really ask for a ride, Sarah?" I ventured, my voice steady despite the tumult inside, a quest for clarity in the midst of confusion. She tilted her head, her gaze never wavering, a steady anchor in the shifting sea of emotions. "I wanted to see if you would say yes. And if I hadn't, then you'd be a different kind of person." Her answer was cryptic, yet it carried a weight that settled in my chest, a realization of choices made and paths taken. I turned away, looked out into the misty night, the world a blur of shadows and light. The world felt distant, as though we were floating, detached from everything familiar, the rain creating an intimacy that was at once comforting and unsettling, a barrier and a bridge. "You make it sound like a test," I said, my tone light but my curiosity genuine, a need to understand the game we were playing. She laughed again, a soft, inviting sound, a melody that lingered in the air. "Maybe it is. Or maybe I'm just a woman who likes to see where the night takes her." The air between us shifted, a subtle change that I could almost feel on my skin, a tingling awareness of something new and unexplored. There was something exhilarating about it, a dance of words and glances that left me feeling alive and aware, a heightened sense of being that was both thrilling and terrifying. "Do you do this often?" I asked, trying to make sense of the evening, of her, of the way the world seemed to have shifted around us. "Only when the company is interesting," she replied, her eyes twinkling with a mischievous light, a playful challenge that dared me to rise to the occasion. I couldn't help but smile, a genuine, unguarded expression that felt like a release. "And what makes me interesting?" She leaned back, her gaze sweeping over me, taking in every detail, a careful appraisal that felt both intimate and detached. "You drive like you're hiding something?" she repeated, her voice a soft echo of her earlier observation, a reminder of the mystery I presented. For a moment, I imagined leaning in, the space between us disappearing, the rain a backdrop to something unspoken, a connection that defied words. But reality tugged at me, a reminder of the world outside the car, of the boundaries I was not supposed to cross, the lines drawn by society and circumstance. I exhaled, the moment slipping away like water through fingers, a fleeting possibility that was both tantalizing and out of reach. "And what about you, Sarah? What are you hiding?" She shook her head, a small, enigmatic smile playing on her lips, a secret kept close to her heart. "That's not how this works, Ethan." We fell into silence again, the rain a gentle lullaby that wrapped around us, a soothing presence that filled the space between us with a sense of peace and possibility. There was a comfort in it, a shared understanding that needed no words, a connection that was as real as it was unspoken. Time seemed to stretch and contract, the minutes slipping by unnoticed, the world outside a blur of rain and shadows. I glanced at the clock on the dashboard, the numbers glowing softly in the dim light, a reminder of the passage of time, of the inevitability of dawn. It was late, the kind of late where the world felt different, where things seemed possible that weren't in the harsh light of day, where dreams and reality danced a delicate waltz. "I should probably get you home," I said, my voice reluctant to break the spell of our secluded world, a world that felt like ours alone. Sarah nodded, though there was a hint of reluctance in her movements, a shared hesitation to let the night slip away. "Yes, I suppose we should." I put the car in gear, the engine's quiet hum filling the space between us once more, a familiar sound that grounded us in reality. I navigated the wet streets, the rain a soothing backdrop to our silent journey, a gentle reminder of the night that had been. "Left here?" she directed suddenly, and I complied without question. The neighborhood unfamiliar but welcoming in its quietude, a place where secrets could be kept and dreams nurtured. We pulled up to a modest house, its windows dark, the porch light casting a warm glow over the front steps, a beacon of normalcy in the surreal night. I turned off the engine, the sudden silence loud in its absence, a reminder of the connection that had filled the space between us. "Thank you, Ethan," she said, her hand resting gently on my arm, a touch that sent a ripple through me, a connection that spoke of more than words could convey. "Anytime," I replied, meaning it more than I cared to admit, a promise of possibilities yet to be explored. She opened the door, the rain a soft patter on the pavement, a gentle farewell that echoed the night's rhythm. But before she stepped out, she paused, turned back to me, her expression unreadable, a mystery that lingered in her eyes. "Maybe we'll do this again sometime," she said, her voice a soft promise, a hope that hung in the air like the scent of rain. "Maybe," I agreed, knowing that the night had changed something, shifted the axis of my world, a new reality that was both exhilarating and daunting. She smiled, then disappeared into the night, the door closing with a quiet click, a punctuation mark on the evening's narrative. I watched her until she reached the front door, a figure against the soft glow of the porch light, a guardian of secrets and dreams. When she turned back for one final glance, our eyes met, a silent understanding passing between us, a shared acknowledgement of what had been and what might yet be. Then she was gone, the door closing behind her with a soft finality, a gentle end to a night of beginnings. I sat there for a moment, the car a cocoon of warmth in the cool night, a refuge from the storm both outside and within. The rain continued its steady dance on the roof, a comforting rhythm that matched the beat of my heart, a reminder of the night that had been, of the possibilities that lay ahead. As I drove away, the world seemed different, the familiar streets now holding the promise of something more, a potential that had been awakened by the night's events. The night had been unexpected, a journey through silence and words, glances and unspoken truths, a dance of shadows and light that left me feeling both grounded and adrift. I knew that what had passed between us was fragile, a delicate balance that teetered on the edge of something more, a connection that was as real as it was intangible. It was a new reality, a thread of connection that would not easily be severed, a possibility that lingered in the air like the scent of rain. And though the road ahead was uncertain, I felt a quiet hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, some secrets were meant to be shared, a belief that the night had offered a glimpse of something true and beautiful, a promise of what could be if only we dared to reach for it.